Good evening. It is 5:30 and we are here at 901 Main Street. It is May the 7th and we're entering into our third year of the Religious Roundtable here in Rockdale County, and I'd like to say welcome to all of you all. I am one of your three commissioners, Commissioner Oz Nesbitt, and I want to start off by having a word of invocation, and I'm going to ask, we have several pastors here this evening, but I think I'm going to ask my good friend, put her on the spot if I could, the lovely Miss Phillips, to come and lead us in a word of prayer. If you would do that for me at this time, so much I would certainly appreciate it. Follow the word of invocation. We will have we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance as well. Thank you so much, Miss Phillips.
Good afternoon. Please bow your heads and pray. Father, we come to you once again. We just want to say thank you, Lord. Thank you for this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you, Lord, for all that you have done for us and for all that you are going to do for us. Lord, we just ask that you bless each person in this room and the families that they represent here today. And also bless those who are on the way and keep them safe as they arrive. Lord, I ask that you touch our friend, Commissioner Nesbitt. Lord, you know what he's trying to do. And Lord, we're just asking that you put your arms around him and make this possible for him. Lord, we just want to say thank you one more time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Thank you for allowing me to put you on the spot like that. Yes, ma'am. And you're always ready. First of all, let me start off by saying thank you to all of you all for coming out this evening. I want to make sure before we move so swiftly through the evening, I take an opportunity to really thank a host of people that I've made a list of. I'm going to try my best to stay on target in terms of our timing. So many of you all have expressed that you have other events and activities this evening to make your way to, and we are very mindful and respectful of that. Therefore, we're going to ask that myself, I'm going to try to be on task as best as possible, and when we call upon our speakers to come up, we're going to ask that you limit it to at least 2, no more than 3 minutes. First of all, again, I want to thank all of our department directors, all of those persons who make up the government here in Rockdale County, who have given up their time and energy and their talent to come out and be a part of this third religious roundtable that we've hosted here in Rockdale County. I so appreciate you coming out, staying over beyond your extended work hours to be a part of this info session tonight to give information and education out to our general public by way of our local clergy. So thank you to our department heads. I must take a moment and thank Patty Pearson, who works so diligently on my behalf in the County Commissioner's office. Patty is, she's excellent in the execution of her services and her role and responsibility. Many of you all have had the opportunity to speak with Patty on several different occasions, and she is just a blessing to have on board, a part of our staff. And I am just, she's made my job so much easy over the past 3.5 years to have her managing my schedule and my calendar. And Patty worked primarily to help build this project for the last 3 years. So I really want to take a moment and say thank you so much to Patty. She's not here with us. She may be watching the broadcast, but I certainly do appreciate her for the outstanding work she's done to help bring this all together. Also, I want to thank the Public Relations Department and our Chief of Staff, who also worked in conjunction with Patty to bring this into fruition. We made sure that we coordinated with the time and schedules of all of our other meetings and other things that were going on here in the county. And the Chief of Staff, Chief Pridgeon, who's here, and Ms. Tanya Parker, who's out here, as well as our PR director. You will hear from her momentarily. And the behind-the-scenes folks who you don't see, who are working behind the scenes, monitoring and managing the camera and their microphone this evening. So we'll be in here to have a recorded meeting tonight. And for those people who are unable to be present at the meeting, because all of us live such busy lifestyles, will be able to pick this broadcast up on their local government channel, channel 23, and be able to get the content and the substance from this meeting, although they're not here. Okay. Then, of course, I want to certainly thank the community, all of you all who have come out this evening. All of our local clergy. I'm an old school boy, and I grew up in the church at home in Augusta, and I believe that as I was reared, that one of the best ways to get a message out to the community is through your local church, your local clergy. I believe that that is one of the most effective tools that anybody could use to communicate to the people in the community, and I want to say thank you to all of our clergy who have taken the time to come out to be a part of this information session tonight. And we believe that when you leave here this evening, you're going to take some very positive nuggets back to the people that are members of your congregation, and you can give them direction about information that they'll be seeking and gathering throughout Rockdale County. So I wanted to just make sure that I didn't move so fast throughout this meeting without taking the proper time to say thank you to all of you all who are coming out this evening. Now, let me just give a quick overview, and then we'll move right into calling on some of our directors or all of our directors that are here tonight. And I've also had a list of those folks who have agreed to be a part of this meeting who were not a part of the original list in terms of information from the county. So each and every person may not be a director, but they basically manage and operate their department or the area of responsibility, and some of those people are here tonight to give you information and to give you education about what it is they do in their various departments. And I won't be going in any particular order. I'm going to try to get some people who have said to me, hey Oz, I got to get out of here, we got some other things to do, so if you could, I'm going to try to shuffle some things around. First of all, I wanted to make sure in this third year of offering this religious roundtable, I believe that the county government should be as connected to its community as possible, as much as possible. And I believe that there's no better way to do that other than what I said earlier than reaching through our local clergy and our local churches. There's tons of information as commissioners that we receive emails and calls and inquiries almost on a day-to-day basis. People seeking direction and guidance as to who to call, who to contact. Oftentimes when people come into government facilities, they're just lost. Although we have great signage and direction, leading and guiding and directing people as to which way to go, who to see, they get confused. One of the biggest things I hear about in the BOC offices, sometimes people get confused as to whether we're the city government or whether we're the county government. Some folks don't differentiate between city, county, and school board government. This is an opportunity tonight to make sure people know the difference and know who the players are behind the scenes that get the job done on a day-to-day basis. The commissioners sit up here on Tuesdays during our meeting, and you have the opportunity of seeing us on Channel 23. Well, we're not the ones that makes the ball roll in Rockdale County. All of these people that you're going to meet tonight, they're out in the field, they're meeting the people, they're meeting the constituents, the citizens in this community. They get the work done. And we come in and make decisions and give direction, but they actually serve as experts in their own field. So we certainly want to make sure you know who those people are when you're seeking information. I can't tell you the number of times I've been on the campus on a Monday or a Tuesday and walking either from this building back over to my office and someone crossing the parking lot saying, hey, where do you go pay your water bill, or where do you go get a business license, or where's the senior citizen center? Can I park here to go to court? Simple questions like that. And in the world of customer service, we have to be in the business of serving the people. And even no matter what kind of day you have, you're going to have to be in a position to have a good attitude, a good approach, and the right appearance to serve the people who pay your taxes and pay our salaries, and that's the folks in Rockdale County. So tonight, it's about connecting you with the government and making sure the government stay connected to the people. And again, we want to leave some opportunity so that you can ask questions or seek information. I encourage you to take advantage of passing or exchanging a business card with some of the people that are in here. And I always tell people, whether I'm hosting an event here on the county property or out in the community, if there's someone here tonight that you don't know, make sure you network or get with somebody here tonight that you don't know. There's an opportunity for you to be blessed by simply being here. So I wanted to make sure I shared that with you tonight. We're going to start off this evening. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the sheriff. Sheriff Wigginton is our chief law enforcement officer here in Rockdale County, and he's going to come up and give you a quick overview about some of the things that takes place inside of his department and the functions and roles and responsibilities of his department. I'll also ask that if you have a question of the sheriff while he's up here, by all means, feel free to ask that question. Your question may be something that someone sitting next to you just might want to know as well. Sheriff Wigginton.
And I did ask to go a little bit early just because we've got a little ceremony today at the sheriff's office for our deputy who was killed a couple of years ago. I'm Jeff Wigginton. I'm the sheriff. I just wanted to mostly introduce myself to you and let you know that we have a full service sheriff's office. A lot of places don't really know the difference, especially if you came from a metropolitan area, the difference in a full service and a regular sheriff's office. Most sheriff's offices in Georgia are full service, which means we answer the calls, we take the 911, or the 911 calls come to us, we respond to them, we work accidents, make arrests, put people in jail, investigate crime, investigate fatal accidents, all those things. In 10 metro counties in Georgia, or 10 counties throughout, most of them are metro areas, they have a limited duty as sheriff, and in those places they typically have a county police department. And their function, the sheriff's function normally is just to take care of the courts and the jail and serve papers and things like that. So the main thing I want to leave you with is that we are full service. If you need a police officer or a deputy, if you live outside the city of Conyers, you're going to get a Rockdale Sheriff's deputy. We've got a lot of dedicated people. I've been with the sheriff's office 35 years. I've been the sheriff for the last 16. We have a very professional staff and hope to continue doing things for you. And even though we've grown to a department of about 300 people, we've tried to focus on staying with the small town things, such as we still jump off cars. If you have a church member that locks their keys in the cars, we still come out and unlock their car door. We just try to be service-oriented and community-minded. So I'll be happy to try to answer any questions at the appropriate time or now if it's whatever Oz says. But the main thing I want to leave you with is that we're there for you. We're more than willing to, help you out or do things for you. Unless you ask, you don't know if we'll do it or not. So I would suggest you ask. My phone number's in the book. My home phone number's in the book. And I give my cell phone out all the time, so if you need me, call me. But we want to be a service-oriented agency and be there for you if you need us. Thank you very much.
I have a question. I know you guys have several satellite offices around the county. How does that work if one were to need immediate help? Do you call the main number, dispatch, I guess?
Years ago there was no 911. The number for the sheriff's office used to be 483-7341. That was not that easy to remember, but years ago, the fire department was 4,200, 483-4200. But when 911 came along, I think we as public safety people did a big disservice to the public, because we said only for emergencies. And, we drilled in everybody's head, don't call 911 unless something's bad. Well, then we had a non-emergency line, and people started calling that. Well, the same person's going to answer both of those, and Frank may want to talk more about that because 911's under him. But the main thing is, if you need a deputy or a fireman or an ambulance or anything else, pick up the phone and dial 911. If it's not as big of an emergency as what the other call they have on the phone is, they're going to take it first. So, you're still going to be talking to the same people regardless. And we don't want people to get into the habit of calling the administrative line at the sheriff's office at 3 o'clock in the morning and the offices are closed. There's still people there, but you know, if you need a deputy, we want you to call 911 anytime, day or night. And about the precincts, we do have a north side precinct, which is up in the Lakeview community. We have a south side precinct behind the Honey Creek Shopping Center, and as part of our most recent SPLOST, we're in the process of, we've acquired a building, are in the process of remodeling and creating a precinct that will be open more hours and available to the public, and it's much more visible. And you'll be happy to know that we've converted a liquor store to a sheriff's precinct. So it used to be the old liquor store at Honey Creek, and now that's where our precinct will be, right out on the side of Georgia 20. It'll be very visible, and it'll be staffed 12 hours a day and 12 to 16 hours a day, and should be available for people to stop by and pick up reports and things like that. Any others? Yes, sir.
Tell us what color cars you drive. Do you drive the silver cars?
We do. Deputies wear the brown uniform pants with the tan shirt, and they drive a silver car. All of our cars are silver, with a couple of exceptions, but they don't say sheriff on them. They're undercover or whatever. But any marked car that we have is going to be silver and say sheriff on the side. The city police, on the same token, has a very distinct marking that says Conyers Police. In Rockdale County, if you moved here from another area, we're kind of unique in that we're the second smallest county in the state as far as land, but a lot of population. And there is only one municipality in the city of, in Rockdale County, and that's the city of Conyers. Most places have multiple cities or things like that. We've got a few unincorporated areas or little communities that some people refer to as a city, but the only incorporated city is the city of Conyers. Most of theirs are black. I think they may have a few others, but the majority of their cars are black and say police, and ours are all silver and say sheriff. Okay? And if you dial 911 and you are inside the city, you're probably going to get sent to the city. If you're in the county, you're going to get sent to them. But 911 is pretty smart, and it will route you to the right place. And if not, it's one button away from getting the right place.
Sheriff, if you would you give your office number for
Sure.
the sake of the broadcast?
Yeah, and this is for reports or to talk to an investigator or things like that. This is not if you want a deputy to show up at your house. And our number is, and it's recently changed, but it's 770-278-8000. The main county number is 7,000. The sheriff's office is 8,000. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff Wigington. We certainly do appreciate that overview. Again, I want to encourage you all to make it your business to get the sheriff's business card, to make sure that you're acquainted with the sheriff and you have an opportunity to build some rapport and relationship. I think oftentimes people only call on law enforcement people when there's an emergency or a situation of need, but they're certainly here to be a public servant to you in a customer service type way as well. The next person I want to call up, of course, is our fire chief, Chief Frank Wilson. Chief, if you would come now and give us an overview of your department. While the Chief is coming, let me take a moment and acknowledge the presence of our Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Chairman Richard Olden, and our Post 2 Commissioner just walked in, Commissioner Janice Van Ness. Absolutely, they're joining us tonight in this discussion. Chief, thank you, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Frank Wilson. I am your Chief of Fire Rescue. I've been here now just about 9 months. Our phone number for the record is 770-278-8401. That's our main number. And as Sheriff Wigington said, and I think that's thank you for that nice segue, by the way, we don't want you guessing about what number you need to call. If you're unsure, you need to dial 911. Our operators are trained. We have the ability to differentiate the calls and prioritize them and find out what you need. If it's a true emergency, we're going to send people. We're going to send the right people there. And I think that's very important to know. So don't necessarily worry yourselves about all the different numbers. Take that step, dial the 3-digit number. You'll get one of our folks that will speak to you. Do not be offended, though, if you have a non-emergent situation and you're asked to be put on hold. I think that's very important to understand. As the sheriff said, in addition to being the fire chief, I manage both the fire department and our 911 communications center. Both of which, like the sheriff's, we staff 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, rain or shine. We employ about 172 people in my staff, and again, we are there to service your needs. A lot of people also don't understand about what you get when you call 911, whether it's a law enforcement call or a motor vehicle collision. Sometimes you may see just a sheriff show up. You may see just a fire engine show up, or you may see an EMS unit show up, or you may see all of us show up. And sometimes we have the ability to inadvertently impact your day, whether we're blocking traffic or we have fire hose on the roadway. And sometimes we tend to be a bit impatient, and we ask you to give us a little grace and understand that we're working through an emergency and trying to get things done and be expeditious with it. We also try to offer CPR classes so that we can keep you and your congregation well informed. There was recently Jeff, was that about a year and a half ago, the cardiac arrest that occurred at the church? And the gentleman was successfully resuscitated. We had an immediate response, and it was a very good thing. So that's very important to understand. One of the things that I did want to stress to the clergy, especially to the lead pastors, one of the things you may not know is here in Rockdale County, and Marshall's probably going to talk about this a little bit in planning and zoning, but you are required to have a fire inspection once you take ownership of your building and you're getting ready to open that building up for service. And you will see us come out, and we will conduct, somewhat depending on the size of the structure, a rather lengthy fire inspection. It's not meant to be difficult. Sometimes it can be, and sometimes it can be frustrating because a lot of folks don't understand the codes and the requirements that are needed to make a building safe. And we will work with you very diligently and give you the amount of time that you need. But a lot of times you can take advantage of calling us and asking to speak to our fire marshal and get some preliminary information done so that you can be prepared for what it is that you're going to do. And I will actually open the floor up to questions.
Chief, if you would,
sir,
would you please give the number to your fire marshal's office, because that is one of the #1 calls that we get about codes and inspections and opening up buildings.
Again, that number for our main line is going to be 770-278-8401, and you can be transferred to the fire marshal directly from there. We're in the process of revamping some of our extensions, so that's the main number we'd like everybody to call at this time. Yes, sir.
The CPR classes that you offer, where are they offered, and is there a cost for them?
We have not. One of the things that we're working on doing is try to develop some type of a program where we can offer a routine class, and we have not done that. So typically what we will do is if a church has a request, we ask you to call us, we will get in contact with our training officer, and we will try to make arrangements to set those needs. We ask you to try to keep it between 10 to 15 people so that you can do it, and it will be a basic CPR class, so it's not a heart saver provider. So we ask, that it's sincere in nature and not to help alleviate some other option, but we will do our best to work with you. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to compliment the fire department and the sheriff's department as well. The gentleman that had a cardiac arrest was at my church on Easter Sunday last year, and you guys responded very quickly and very efficiently, and the young man is doing great now. So,
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, sir.
After the class, you just spoke about, you said 15 people. What's the number of hours? And does that person get an initial certification?
The basic Heart Saver class, about 4 hours in length, and we're gonna work on just CPR right now. And you do get your AHA, American Heart Association, basic card to go along with it. So at least for your church leadership staff, we would like to highly encourage you to consider doing that. We would also like to have you consider, especially for our larger churches in our county, would you please make a sincere thought or speak to us about purchasing an AED that you have. Those are a very inexpensive tool nowadays, and it only takes to save one life. And we were fortunate enough to have a response that quickly as we did. Everybody happened to be in the right place. The sheriff, actually, one of the law enforcement officers, was driving by, and one of the EMS units was driving right by. So it all fell into place very, very well. But an AED can be a very valuable resource in your church, and we can help you with purchasing, get you in touch. Alice Citron, that we've worked with at our grants, she has helped with us for resources, and we can help get you the training as well. So that would be a good thing. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
you were saying inexpensive, what is inexpensive?
I should inexpensive is anywhere in the neighborhood of about $800 to $1,600 for what we would call a consumer grade AED.
And what is an AED?
An AED is an automated external defibrillator. Sorry about using the acronyms. Just get used to it. Any other questions? Sir?
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Really do appreciate Chief Wilson and all of what they do over at the Fire and Rescue and 911 Division. As you've heard, somewhat of a testimony, I guess, tonight, that it certainly matters when they're responsive. Moving on with time, I want to shift just a little bit. I want to start off by having our Human Resources Director, Mr. Darrell Bowie, to come up and give a brief overview of the Human Resources Department. I think in these tough economic times we've all experienced over the last 3 years now, one of the biggest requests in the community that we hear is what types of jobs are available in Rockdale County, and I've talked one-on-one on several occasions with Mr. Bowie about making sure that our Human Resources Department is an accessible department by way of online application, as well as someone stopping by the Human Resources office and filling out a hard copy application. And he's made a lot of changes and upgrades within his department, and I understand he's brought on some new people and some new talent most recently, and they're still in the midst of making some improvements to make sure that we can cater to all of those applicants so that we can seek and find the best talent here in Rockdale County, but making sure that our processes in human resources are fair and equal. That is one thing that is near and dear to my heart, that make certain that anybody that applies in Rockdale County, that when we call ourselves an equal opportunity employer, we're just that, so that we'll be able to make sure that all of the things, Mr. Bowie, if you would come at this time and just give them a brief overview of your department and some of the things that you're doing over in Human Resources. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Darrell Bowie, Department of Human Resources. And our mission and primary function is to recruit and retain the best employees possible to serve the citizens of Rockdale County. In recruitment, in terms of recruitment, our primary sources of recruitment are our web presence, rockdalecounty.org, the HR department. We also advertise through local media and also on Channel 23. In terms of the retention and the programs we provide, our department has wellness initiatives that teach employees about nutrition and health and provide physical fitness activities. We also provide benefits administration to ensure that employees are well taken care of, and training and safety programs, and similar benefits that create a healthy and productive work culture. So with that, that's an overview of the HR department, and at this time, anybody have any questions? I'm available. Is this is the correct time?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
No question. I've actually applied for a couple of jobs with the county and never heard anything back. Is it a routine that you don't send out your job letters? You just...
The practice for all applications, and we have just, I know, reinitiated that, is that we do have a follow-up now. We're currently fully staffed, and we have follow-up with all applicants. If an employee is not, well, if a candidate is not selected, then they receive a response through email when email is provided. Yes.
Could you repeat that website again?
Rockdale County.org. You can go directly to the jobs by going to rockdalecounty.org/HR. Yes.
I'm not sure if this is your area, but in terms of new jobs being created within the Congress area, are you seeing an increase? Are you aware of increase in jobs being created in the city?
To be honest, I am relatively new, and my whole 100% focus has been on this particular organization. I've been reaching out to partner with the Department of Labor on upcoming job fairs and other initiatives, but I have not seen recent trends in Rockdale County in terms of moving over to downward.
Are you speaking about the area, Rockdale County, or just the metro area? The Rockdale Metro. Okay. Just recently, there was an announcement as we was in D.C. Baxter, B-A-X-T-E-R, from the company will be starting a new start program in the area, in the Walton, Newton County Industrial Park area. It's going to bring 1,500 new jobs. I did want to encourage you, like I've been speaking about this, bioscience, biomedical technology. It's important that we begin to move in that direction as a community to prepare your congregations in those areas, because this is where the jobs are going to be in the future. In high technology, biotechnology, bioscience, and microscience. So there will be jobs. We do have a number of different companies coming in now that we're offering 100 jobs, up to 150 jobs. We have Hill Phoenix, a local company who has math and science program for jobs that deals with refrigeration. So there are different types of jobs out here that are available. Outside the country.
All right. Anything else? Yes, sir.
You may have seen this on there. On that site, are there actual postings of available jobs, or is there somewhere that that's posted?
At that site, the rockdalecounty.org, you go to Human Resources Department, or go directly by going to /HR. You'll see the actual postings, current postings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Thank you so much. The next person I want to bring up, a little different in terms of not really having a lot of direct hands-on with the community per se, and I think it's still important because as taxpayers in the community, all of your church members and your congregants, your parishioners, they're homeowners, they're business people, they pay taxes in this community. So we have an operating budget that we operate off of to do all of what we do as a county government. And the person that heads that department is Ms. Rosalind Miller, our finance director. I'm going to ask her to come up at this time and give a brief overview of her roles, duties, and responsibilities. Ms. Miller, thank you so much.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosalind Miller, and I'm the Director of Finance. The Finance Department's major areas of responsibility includes budget management, accounts payable, payroll, investments, assets, financial reporting. There's three functions that may directly impact you, and that's our grant writing. We have purchasing, doing how to do business with Rockdale County, and also our neighborhood stabilization program. And I have three individuals, if I can. I have three young ladies that are very knowledgeable about those functions, and I'll call them up now. We can start with Alice. She is our grant writer.
Yeah. My name is Alice Cintron, and I'm the grant writer here for Rockdale County. I don't have enough handouts for everyone, so if you'd like one, you can email me, and I'll send you a handout, a copy of the handout via email. As the grant writer for Rockdale County, I have four basic responsibilities. One is to provide grant writing services and support to the various county departments. Two is to support community-wide initiatives. Three, to provide technical support and technical assistance to CBOs, which are community-based organizations. And four, to provide grant administration support to the finance department once the grant is received. And that's pretty much my functions in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions? Great.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
Slow down. You got your ticket book with you, Sheriff. That was real fast. I certainly do appreciate it. Let me just elaborate a little bit. We have so many wonderful people who work so hard behind the scenes here in Rockdale County, and you don't see these folks, and Alice is certainly one of those people. Rockdale County, as many of you all know, are certainly a community of caring. We have a lot of nonprofit organizations in our community, and people are constantly contacting the commissioners and contacting our office as to how to seek funding or get grant assistance with writing grants or developing grants for their particular nonprofit agencies. Whereas Alice works for the county, she always makes herself accessible to the people in the community to give direction and guidance as to how to get started with writing grants. Now let me just say this, because chances are her office will probably be flooded and bombarded with a lot of calls tomorrow, especially after tonight and after this broadcast is aired on Channel 23. Let me just let you know, she does work all day here in the county. She has work that we're in task, that she's on task to deal with on a day-to-day basis, what she's seeking for us in terms of grants. She's not able to just come and hang out at your church and stay there all day or what have you, but she certainly is available by way of telephone and email, and I'm sure you can probably call her office and set up an appointment, and Alice will give you direction and information, as I have called her several times, and most recently a lot here lately, because we've had so many people inquiring about how to start the process of writing or developing a grant, and Alice is certainly known throughout the community as being an expert in her field. I just wanted to applaud her for her efforts, and again, just elaborate a little bit more on what she does and the fact that she is available and accessible to any of you all throughout the community. Any last thought you want to add, Alice? I know you.
She has a question.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Ms. Alice, I wanted to
Yes.
know, do you ever schedule workshops where you can
You're holding
educate?
one. We conducted this workshop approximately 2 months ago in an effort to conduct the first grant writing support services workshop. We had a very good turnout. We had about 45 agencies, individuals attend. As a result of that, we're working on doing additional workshops, but making them just a little bit smaller, because people were overwhelmed by the information, and we just want to be able to make sure that we can help them get on the track that they need to get on, so they can be self-empowered and do what they need to do to support their organization.
And Alice.
No, we do not. We do not. But you can take my email. Well, you can give me a call on the number that I gave, and we have an email list. Or if you're registered through the nonprofit registry, we will send out an email once those workshops have been scheduled.
Two things, Alice, before you leave. I think going forward in the future, for the sake of information, which is what this meeting is all about tonight, we want to make sure, she just talked about there was about 45 people that showed up at the workshop you had. We want to make sure that you are aware of the time, date, and locations of those workshops, so you and members of your congregation can come out and be in attendance. Certainly we'll make sure that through our PR department we can broadcast that information. So we encourage you all to check your local newspaper, check Rockdale Government Channel, Channel 23, and as Alice has already stated, feel free to reach out to her in terms of seeking additional information, or perhaps setting up an individual workshop in your church, exclusively designed to cater to your folks or your members of your congregation. That may be something that you can work out as well. I think the other thing that I was going to ask about, Alice, you mentioned, it escapes me now, but you mentioned having the opportunity to give the information concerning grants for folks who just don't know how to get one started, and a lot of folks come to you on that all the time.
Right.
Can you give us a little bit more on that?
Well, through some efforts through the Hospital Authority of Rockdale County, we discovered that a lot of organizations did not understand how to speak to their program goals and objectives and determine outcomes and evaluation, all grant kind of stuff. And so we talked about providing a real basic 101 to give folks an understanding so that they can start making application. Rockdale County, a lot of organizations in Rockdale County do not seek funds outside of Rockdale, so we'd like to help support them in their efforts to do that. So for the most part, it's just providing that basic 101 on how to sort of construct, put your organization on paper so that it becomes more marketable and you can potentially receive grant funding outside of Rockdale County.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alice.
Yes.
How do you get on that nonprofit registry?
Thank you. That's what.
Okay, I know Commissioner Van Ness is here. Okay, I'm going to ask you to answer that because specifically I believe, how do you get on that registry? Oh, okay, Marsha will do it. Okay, Marsha's going to answer how to get on that registry. Okay? Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce Tina Malone, and she's our purchasing officer, and she'll go into detail of how to do business with Rockdale County.
I'm not sure if I have enough, but that's it.
Y'all wasn't expecting a lot of people to show up tonight, were you?
I think there's a lot of staff members out here. We'll make sure the brochures goes to the clergy.
Staff doesn't need them, that's correct. Yes, I am Tina Malone, and I'm the procurement officer for Rockdale County. And first of all, I'd like to say that I just feel very blessed to be here in front of all the clergy. I definitely feel the presence of the Lord here. But what procurement is about is basically overseeing the spending of the taxpayers' money. And one of the things that we do is ensure that the money is spent in a manner that's good stewards of taxpayers' money. We also have provide for an open and fair environment for vendors to come in and put in bids. We issue purchase orders. We issue invitation to bid and request for proposals. We do oversee all of the contracts for the county. And we also handle the surplus property sales. And some of these things are listed on the website. First of all, a vendor, one of the first questions I get is, how do I get on the vendor registry? And it is actually on our website at the www.rockdalecounty.org. And if you go to the middle of the home page, you'll see where it says Frequent Asked Questions. If you'll click on that, and then you'll see Joining Vendor List. That will take you directly to the vendor registry where the vendor can get registered for the different commodities that they sell. I also ask that all vendors make my office the first point of contact. What I like to do is meet with the vendor, find out what kind of products or services that they offer, and then I can match them up with the appropriate department for whatever buys their goods and services. I also let them know about any opportunities that we have at that time to bid or submit a proposal. Also, like I said, the contracts, we oversee all of the contracts and making sure that those are renewed and bid out properly. And then the surplus property, there's also a place on the website for Gov Deals. And any county property that we have is posted on there. For instance, county vehicles that become surplus, you can go out there and actually bid on those that are out there listed. And I think that's it.
Ms. Malone, I just want to make mention of something while you're standing. One of the things that we advocate as a board, we certainly like to have as many local business people doing business with the county as much as possible. Whereas we don't discriminate, and we can't with any business, but it always makes our day when a local Rockdale County business is awarded a contract, because it gives us an opportunity to take care of those people in our own backyards. And that just makes good common sense to me, to take care of the folks right here at home. So we encourage, a lot of you all have business owners or local entrepreneurs inside your congregation who are seeking to develop business or start business or to do business with the county, should I say. And we want you to encourage them to build a relationship. She just said that she'd certainly like to give you information on how to become, how to get listed on the vendor list, and that's really important. So please, ma'am, please, sir, take advantage of this information so that when you have people to reach out to you, you'll be able to point them in the right direction. And again, we definitely like to encourage all of our local Rockdale business folks to try their best to do business with our government as much as possible. Any other point on any of that, Ms. Malone, you'd like to?
Just in case there wasn't enough brochures to go around, let me give you my direct line.
Thank you.
It's 770-278-7552. And I'll be glad to get you a copy of that brochure and help you with any questions you might have. But if you have any questions now, I'll be glad to answer.
You must did a good job.
Great. Thank you.
The next is Tanisha Lanier, and she's our NSP coordinator.
Good evening. I'm Tanisha Lanier, Rockdale County NSP coordinator, and NSP stands for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. It's a grant-funded initiative funded through HUD, and we actually received our funds through Georgia Department of Community Affairs. We received approximately $2.7 million, and we received subsequent allocations thereafter. Right now, we're managing a budget of about $4 to $5 million, including NSP 1 and NSP 3 dollars. NSP 1 was designed, it was the first launch of the program designed to stabilize the neighborhoods and remove the homes within that community that were affected by blight or abandonment. So kind of the sore thumb in the neighborhood are the homes that we go after in order to start a movement of revitalizing that subdivision. NSP 3 was a third round of funding that was a more focused approach, and that approach was to sort of chime in on specific census tracts within the community. And under NSP 3, we have 3 tracts that we focus on, and so we're able to sort of have a more direct impact. Under both programs, we try to acquire at least 2 assets within the same community in order to have a stabilizing effect. In most communities, we've acquired, 3+ homes in that community, and it has had a great impact in starting to increase values within the subdivision. It's a home ownership program. Eligible applicants qualify based on a few factors, the first being making application. And applicants are given priority based on a few things. First, and it's recently been revised, the first thing is their county of residence. So as Commissioner Nesbitt stated, we give preference to local residents first, given that we have multiple offers on our properties. Secondly, based on your profession, we give preference to our first responders, educators, and government employees, secondly. And then third, based on the date that you register for the program. Now, when you register, the applicant may not be home ownership ready at that time. However, we don't penalize them for having items that they need to work on. That gives them more of an incentive to work on those items and correct things in order to be ready at a later date. So some of our applicants may register a year or 2 before, and then finally they complete all the steps outlined by the program, and then they're able to achieve home ownership. We require homebuyer education, and Rockdale partners with HUD certified agencies, and we offer the class once a month. Our next class is actually this Saturday at the JP Carr Meeting Hall from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. The session is 6 hours of group counseling. However, we also take it a little bit further and require 2 additional hours of individual counseling, where the counselor gets into with the applicant about budgeting. How much can I afford as opposed to how much can I qualify to purchase? That's a big difference, because a bank will lend you $150,000, but they don't really take into account that you go out to eat quite often or you shop a lot and things like that. So the counselor will get into with you how much can you really afford to purchase. There are income guidelines based on the total household income for participants through the program, and it goes up to 120% of the area median income. So for a 1-person household, that household could earn up to about $68,000. So that could be 2 working parents in the same household earning about $30,000 and still being able to qualify to go through the program. Now, the payments that homeowners receive on these properties are very affordable. We have someone that's paying maybe about $800 or $900 in rent and purchasing a 4-bedroom home, fully renovated, because all of our properties are renovated through our program, and their payment is at about $494 per month. The program provides each recipient $14,500 towards down payment, which comes off of the sales price, and then we also pay 5% in closing costs. Our goal is to get home buyers in the home and make it affordable at the same time while stabilizing the neighborhood. In return, the homeowner has to remain in the property for at least 5 years, and that guarantees at least the same faces within that neighborhood will form sort of a community and get to know each other, and over time stabilize the community. Now, NSP is just one tool in the toolbox to sort of address the foreclosure issue, but it is working, and they have other programs that have come out to revitalize the community, like our CHIP program and a few others, to kind of help ease the hurt of the economy and the foreclosures. In addition to that, we also have CHIP down payment funds. So if you are not interested in the NSP, but you want to purchase a property and you need down payment funds, then there are funds available through the CHIP program. My direct extension is 770-278-7141. You can find more information about the program on rockdalecounty.org. On the home screen, if you click on the ROCK logo, Revitalization of Communities, you'll be able to go to our area of the website and get more details. Any questions?
She did an awesome job.
Thank you.
If you would just tell them a little bit about the CHIP program and what CHIP stands for and how that kind of coincides with what you're doing with NSP.
Alice is actually handling the CHIP program, so I'll let her get more into that. But the CHIP basically helps current homeowners who may have repairs that may be needed and helps bring their homes up to code.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll be brief. The CHIP program is a community housing improvement project, and we received a grant for $300,000 to provide up to $28,000 for home improvement, for homeowner improvement. The home has to be owned by the owner, as well as those funds up to $5,000 for down payment assistance. The majority of the funds that we received will be used in the Milstead area, because it met a criteria that was required by the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, and the remaining 40% of the grant funds will be used community-wide. We're actually getting ready to start a home on Milstead, in Milstead shortly. And if you'd like an application, it's online at www.rockdalecounty.org in the recent news information section. Any questions about CHIP? Okay.
Thank you, Alice. Pastor, you had your hand up. You already asked. Thank you so much. I think Chairman wants to add a piece about the NSP as well.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Commissioner. I want to just touch base on all three programs. These programs are relatively new programs, young programs. Alice has been on board about 2.5, 3 years now. We did not have a grant writer in the county, and when we come in office, we want to make sure and ensure that the community got the best bang for the buck. She has been outstanding. In 120 days, she went out and we found that $2.7 million in less than 120 days. And this program that NSP program is running today was recognized throughout the country with bringing the first model in the country to stabilize the community. So and Tanisha is a contractor. She's not an employee of the county. She's what you call a contractor, so she's up under a contract with us to do this project. Tina, on the other hand, is at the same time, she's only been in place about another year and a half, less, 2 years, and we will be adding another staff person to her scenario, so we can begin to track and measure contracts and compliance and be in compliance along the way. So we're just getting started, and I want to thank the Commissioner for allowing this opportunity for his 3rd year in a row to get the faith-based community in here. Now, what we want to do is, with the faith-based, to continue to ask you to come and meet with our Neighborhood Stabilization Program, because there's a GFA grant out there called the Georgia Environmental Facilities Grant. That allows our seniors to get their homes restored, window replacement, fixtures. So there's a lot of opportunities out here that we need to pass this information on. So I just wanted to lift that up so everyone knows what's going on there. And thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. Moving right along, I'm going to ask, you often see the three of us commissioners, myself, the chairman, Commissioner Van Ness, sitting here during our meetings, but there's 2 other people that are joining us now. The county attorney, Mr. Carter Begg, who is not here this evening, but who is here tonight is our county clerk, Ms. Jennifer Rutledge, who keeps the Board of Commissioners on task, keeps us corrected, keeps us on task and on top of our parliamentary procedures and all of the knowledge. And let me just say this as Jennifer prepares to come up. Jennifer certainly is an institution and a wealth of knowledge inside of our government. She's been here for quite some time. She knows a lot lot of the inner operations of various departments through Rockdale County government, and we're fortunate to have her on board as well. Her office is inside of the Board of Commissioners office. In fact, I encourage all of you all to give her a call or perhaps send her an email so that you will be a part of the mail out information about the Board of Commissioners meetings. You can get a copy of the agenda emailed to you, whether you can attend the meeting or not. You will be in tune and in touch with what's going on. She'll gladly put you on that email distribution list and send you a copy of the agenda. And the fact that she's been here for quite some time, she has a lot of information about so many departments that she can point you and guide you in the right direction. But I want her to come up, Jennifer, to come up and by all means tell us a little bit about more than what I've already done about her department. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Oh, you're welcome. Here's my cards, and here's the forms for the application for service.
Super fantastic.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner Nesbitt. I see so many familiar faces. I'm Jennifer Rutledge, the county clerk for Rockdale County for the Board of Commissioners. And there's two things that I was going to hit on tonight, and Commissioner Nesbitt was so nice to hit one of them. One is for the announcements that I send out through the email system for the board meetings or public notifications or anything like that. So my cards are coming around, but my email address is jennifer.rutledge@rockdalecounty.org, and my phone number is 770-278-7009. And I have spoke to a lot of you before, and you're more than welcome to come by anytime. We're located in the building next door. The other thing that's coming around that I wanted to address tonight when I was thinking about addressing the local clergy is the opportunity to volunteer in the community. We have tons of boards and authorities and commissions where appointments and vacancies come up from time to time, and it would be so nice to have you and members of your congregation on file when the board needs to consider filling a vacancy. So if you could take a moment and hand those out and pass them around to the members of your congregation or to email it out, we'd really appreciate it, and then to send it back to me so we'll have it on file when there's vacancies that occur. Also, if you have any general questions about county government or anything about Rockdale County, I can take questions, or you can email me or call me at your convenience. Any questions? Great, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Your forms and handouts are still being circulated throughout our meeting tonight. I want to, at this time, ask that a lot of you all, in terms of engaging with the county, at least on a monthly basis, by being a resident or a business here, and certainly through your churches, you often deal with our water department. So I'm going to ask that Mr. Dwight Wicks, our Director of Water Resources, come up and give you an overview of his department, and especially I want him to talk about customer service and what they're doing and what they've done in customer service to make improvements to better serve the community. Mr. Wicks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Nesbitt. Good evening to everyone. Again, my name is Dwight Wicks, and I'm the Director of Rockdale Water Resources. I'll try to be brief. I've been accused of being long-winded, but I'll try to be brief this evening. First of all, Rockdale Water Resources is funded as a business enterprise fund. That means that we don't get money from the general fund, we don't get money from taxes. We have to support our expenditures through the revenue that we bill for services. So with that in mind, we certainly have to cover our costs, and we have to be efficient in the delivery of our services so that our cost doesn't go up unjustifiably. So in looking at what services we provide drinking water, otherwise known as potable water, to you from our water treatment plant. We also, through our wastewater treatment plant, treat the wastewater. We collect the wastewater and treat it and discharge it to the river. Yellow River is the river that we discharge it to. We have one division that provides what we call field services. And the field services is the delivery of water from the water plant to your homes or businesses. And the other portion of the field services is the wastewater collections division. And they are responsible for the pipes and lines that collects the water, wastewater from your home and deliver it to our wastewater treatment plant for treatment and purification before it's discharged to Yellow River. We have a couple of support divisions. We have our own engineering department, we have our own customer service department, and we have our own administration department, of which I work out of. These constitute Rockdale Water Resources. And the Commissioner stated that he wanted me to mention about our customer service. And one of the things that I've been charged with doing as I come back, and that is trying to get RWR back on its feet financially. For the longest, we were running deficits. Our services were not 21st century. We were behind the 8 ball because we couldn't afford to do what we needed to do in terms of providing services that enable you, for instance, to pay your water bill online. One of the key things that I've done is to invest in technology. I've invested in technology and I've invested in people. I invested in the people first. We recruited top-notch people who identified what we needed to do from our game plan-wise in terms of purchasing technology and changing our procedures so that we could keep the cost down and keep the water flowing on a 24-hour basis, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And we're effectively doing that. From the standpoint, I'll point out 3 major things that we've done technology-wise. We have purchased about a year, maybe 2 years ago, a new operating system or billing system called the Cogsdale software. This Cogsdale software cost us initially about $350,000. To get fully implemented, it was about $500,000. Raised a few eyebrows, but from the standpoint of us getting this in place, it was needed so that we could put online bill pay, pay by phone. We now can process checks brought in. We used to have to do it manually. We have a check scanner that enables us to do that in a matter of hours when it used to take a day to do that. So we've certainly been able to improve our efficiency. We've purchased a Vector truck, and you may have seen this big truck. It looks like a small version of a gasoline tanker with a hose on top of it. And this unit allows us to go in and clean backed up sewer lines. Before, we were unable to do that with this type. We had a smaller, less efficient unit to do that. And one of the other things that we've done, and this is a program that we're just rolling out, and this is the radio read water meters. These radio read water meters we're testing right now, but this is going to be one of the biggest impacts to the public. It is geared toward us being able to get information from our plant. Without going out to from customer service, we can read all of the meters. We can also tell you about your water consumption. We can help you to pinpoint a leak before 30 days. We can send you a notice to let you know that you've got a leak as opposed to getting a $500, $600, or $700, $800 water bill at the end of 30 days. So this system is really going to help us from the standpoint of the customer service end, and we're really looking forward to having this system in place. So with that, I'll stop and take questions. Yes, ma'am. Is there a what now?
Is there another public meeting tomorrow
night? Not with RWR. You're talking about the League of Women meeting. That's going to be one that we at first thought was going to be in conflict with the BOC meeting because it's usually an evening meeting. But RWR will not be at that meeting tomorrow. We've been rescheduled. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Were you saying that you can detect a leak or will be able to detect a leak before we know there's a leak?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We certainly will.
Great. When is that?
We're doing a pilot test. We got 10 meters out in the field that we're testing side by side with the existing meter system. So it's being pilot tested now. And once that pilot test is over, we'll gradually implement it in phases. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggs. Mr. Wicks, before you leave, real briefly, would you just give your customer service number out so that I think a lot of our folks who deal with your office on a day-to-day basis probably engage more with the customer service aspect of bill pay than anything else? If you would certainly give that number out, and so that for the sake of the broadcast and for those that are here.
770-278-7450 is our customer service number. And we provide the emergency after-hours services through our own call. I think 911 actually provides us assistance in doing that. But this number will get you to our department. It's our general number for customer service.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to try to push the time here, make sure that we stay on track. I want to shift gears just for a second. I'm going to ask a gentleman from our stormwater department to get ready and just be on standby. At this time, I'm going to ask the chief of staff, who serves with three very unique and dynamic personalities, myself and Chairman Oden, as well as Commissioner Van Ness, who's still here standing in the rear. His job is to juggle communication between the three of us. He's going to tell you just how such of a juggling act that is. I'm going to let Chief Pridgeon, the Chief of Staff of Rockdale County Board of Commissioners, at this time. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I'm Greg Pridgeon. I'm your Chief of Staff. It gives me an opportunity to work with all the departments in the county, in addition to working as a liaison with the three board members. As Commissioner Nesbitt mentioned, we have three strong, dynamic, independent, and opinionated leaders. Did I do good with that? And we want to make sure that their vision, their opportunity to serve the people who elected them is within the best possible procedures and policies that we can do. My job is to try to make sure that I get their thoughts across. And we do have helpmates. For example, our law department is responsible for drafting any legislation that they might think about. We have all of the departments that will provide data and information to them. These three leaders that we have not only are here to provide leadership through adopting legislation, but they're out in the community with you all on a regular basis. They visit your churches, they hear the complaints and the concerns of your congregations. They try to bring that information in a concise manner back to us and see how we can address those questions. I am responsible for assisting them in getting that to the operating departments, along with our chairman. Our chairman has two roles. As the chairman, he helps work with the Board of Commissioners, but as the chief executive officer, he's responsible for running the daily operations of county government. I am the helpmate to the CEO in his responsibility to run the government. So I'm sort of like a chief operating officer to assist the CEO. But in my role as chief of staff, I'm also responsible for helping the board members with matters that pertain to legislation and how to interact with the departments to get these products delivered to you all as the citizens. I'm honored to be here. I know that my role is not to be the legislator nor the administrator, but the helpmate to these leaders in both responsibilities. I work closely with all the departments, work very closely with the clerk and others from the outside. I am also engaged in matters with the Atlanta Regional Commission, ACCG, with the Georgia General Assembly, with the jurisdictions around us, the counties. I meet with those county managers. I talk with the city of Conyers on a regular basis. I'm engaged at times with our Washington, D.C. effort and our lobbyists. Thank you all for allowing me to serve, and I'll take any questions that you may have. Thank you very much. Yes.
Chief, if you would just a tad bit, would you talk a little bit and explain about the Sunshine Law? I always like to take an opportunity to explain that to the citizens of the county. And there has been some changes made by the Georgia legislature in reference to the Sunshine Law. But I want people to really understand the difficulty that has been there in terms of the communication that we can't participate in, and now the communication that we can. But however, your role serves as a major conduit in terms of bringing the three of us together to make sure information is processed. Would you talk a little bit about that for us?
Because in 1977, The law from the state called our Enabling Act changed from Rockdale County having a single commissioner. For those of you who are in the room now, it seems a little bit difficult to fathom that we had one person making all the decisions. Until that time, when they voted in the Georgia General Assembly, with the assistance of the county citizens, to go to a 3-person county board of commissioners. Because anytime 2 of them are together or in conversation becomes a quorum. And it appeared that it was very difficult for them to communicate with one another. Recently, the Georgia General Assembly, under the guidance of the State Attorney General, who was the former chairman of the Cobb County Commission, Sam Oland, created a different process to allow commissioners and city council members to interact with each other so that they can have these discussions without it becoming a violation of state law. So they can communicate through email back and forth. They cannot ask each other for votes, but they can ask, are you going to that meeting tonight? Are you coming to this event that I'm participating in? They can have conversations back and forth, but it has to be in email format, not in telephone conversations or in person. Meetings like this tonight, you can have all 3 of them in room, and that's just fine. But if there was a business matter where they wanted to talk about particular votes that would come before the board, it still poses a violation for them to have the conversation, so they talk to me. They'll talk to me, they'll email me, and I'll talk to the other one. Commissioner Nesbitt, would you like to tell Commissioner Van Ness something? And vice versa. I try to, I'll put this gently, I'm respectful of the point that they're trying to make to each other without trying to filter it too much. I try to make sure that that information flows to them appropriately. Even with the new law, there is an apprehension at times to have open and regular email conversations that still would like to utilize me or in times the clerk. The finance director reports to all 3. The county attorney reports to all 3. But we have a new state law that was signed by the governor to allow for quorums to be able to have conversation through email with each other. And we'd be more than happy to give you, your congregation, any information about that. In addition to that, we have modifications to the Open Records Act. So if you're asking for information that is in the possession of the county, you can get it, and there is a cheaper price. It used to be 25 cents a page. If you were going to have it copied, now it's 10 cents a page. And we have many other modifications like that we'd be more than happy to give to you so you can share with your congregations, or if you just want to know about it, we'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you
so much. Yes, sir. I'm going to ask that Miss Jackie Lunsford be on standby and get ready to follow Tom. Tom, if he would come up. Tom is a representative from our Stormwater Division, and there's been a lot of conversation about launching an aggressive stormwater education program or campaign, should I say, and I do understand that he's working, their department is working with Ms. Parker's department, public relations, to make sure that that campaign gets off the ground. A lot of folks don't understand the importance or the need to pay into the stormwater, to pay the stormwater fee. They just simply think it's just simple rainwater and it has no substance or no value to the county. He's working very diligently with Ms. Parker, and there's going to be a campaign to explain to folks why that is really important here in our county. But I want to let him take a little bit of time and explain what he does on a day-to-day basis representing Rockdale County in the Stormwater Department. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Prater. I'm the field engineering technician for Rockdale County Stormwater Utility. I was wondering about what I was going to talk about tonight, so I'm going to kind of break it down into 2 things really quick. First thing being, I'm the guy that you call when you have an issue. So if you're having stopped up ditches or driveway pipes like that, I'm the person you're going to talk to. My number is 770-278-7117. That's my direct line to my office. Or you can send me an email from the Rockdale County website, www.rockdalecounty.org. When I was contemplating what I was going to do tonight, I was thinking about what's the most important thing that people ask me. And that question is, where does my fee go to? What is that money used for? So I thought about it for a little while, and I said, well, you know, the biggest thing is safety. And you might be saying, safety? What's that got to do with rain? Well, just to give you a brief statistic, the Federal Highway Administration said that last year there were 3,400 deaths all over the United States because of ponding on the roads from water. Actually, there was over 350,000 serious accidents because of rainfall and ponding on the water. That is something that's really serious in our department. We take that to heart. So that being said, one of the biggest things that we do, and one of the things that we're committed to, is making sure that there's no ponding on the water in the 510 miles of Rockdale County roads. It's a job, but we're working on it. It's slow, but it's sure. We're currently putting together a program. We're procuring some equipment, and we're procuring some more hands on deck so that we can go from having contractors doing work on a sporadic basis to having somebody out in the field 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, working for you guys. And that's cleaning ditches, that's cleaning driveway pipes, culverts, replacing pipes underneath the road. Like I say, ponding is one of the biggest things that we have that we need to deal with. And slowly but surely, we're getting them knocked out. In the 2011 contract term, we did 26 major projects at a cost of about $339,000. And we're just getting started. So with that being said, I'll kind of let it go with that, and if you guys have some questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Yes, sir.
I have a serious problem with this definition of fee. Now, I understand a tax, but this definition of a fee.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my understanding of a fee, sir, is that it's optional. I can pay a fee to watch a basketball game,
mm-hmm.
pay a fee to go to the circus. That's optional.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, from all these people,
mm-hmm.
is it a fee or is it a tax?
It is a fee.
Okay, so therefore it's optional.
It is a fee.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I couldn't hear you at all times. What is the word you were saying that starts with a P?
Ponding. Right, ponding on the road. Anytime, ponding is, I'm sorry, ponding is defined as a 1/4 inch of water on the road within a 6-foot section. So anytime you have that water, it creates a greater risk of hydroplaning across the road. And that's what we're trying to prevent at this point.
Well, why doesn't DOT take care of that?
DOT does take care of ponding in their jurisdiction, but Rockdale County is required by the state to manage their own infrastructure. Therefore, we fund it through the utility, and that's how we pay to be able to take care of these things. Yes, sir.
Are you covering city and county?
No, sir. The city of Conyers has their own stormwater utility. Yes, ma'am.
Is there an opportunity to get a credit on part of the fee by volunteering?
Yes, ma'am, there is. Actually, I passed out, or the commissioner has passed out some brochures that will give you some information on some volunteer programs that we use, and also some best management practices that you can do around your home that would give you a stormwater credit off your bill. We have things that you can do as a homeowner. For example, rain barrels on your downspouts. That would give you a credit off of your stormwater bill. So once we come out and verify that you have those on there, then we send that back to the billing people, and they take a percentage of your stormwater bill off. I've actually seen some that look pretty good.
Tom?
Yes, sir.
Is this fee a state mandated or is it federal mandate?
It started out as a federal mandate to the states, and then the state trickled it down to the individual counties. And what happened is they basically gave us some options. They said, okay, you can raise taxes and you can fund it that way, or you can create a utility and fund it that way. And from my understanding, and I wasn't here when the utility was first formed, is that it was felt that it was fairer to have a utility than it was to put in a tax that would be a lot higher than what you would be paying now as a single family resident.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
With all due respect, sir, if this fee is being applied to each taxpayer, each homeowner, each business, technically speaking, it is a tax. So when you say we'd rather not raise the tax, that is a tax. And so therefore,
It's classified as a fee.
I understand, sir, but any time, if, for example, we're mandated to pay it, but interestingly, Dan Ray, the tax commissioner, would not put that on our bills. So in other words, if it isn't paid, they cannot put a lien on your property if this fee isn't paid. Now, and going in with this, not all counties have this. Not all counties have this.
Okay. Number one, I wouldn't know if all counties have it or not. Number two, I wasn't here in the beginning when the stormwater utility was designed, so I'm not sure exactly how it came about. But fair to say that the stormwater utility uses their fees, which is your fees, wisely and efficiently. And we're going to use it and get as much done as we can to keep the water off the roads.
Tom, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Keep your eyes and ears open for the campaign that's coming through the Public Relations Department, giving you more information about the Stormwater Division and the importance it serves in our county. I'm going to ask Ms. Jackie Lunsford to come up and talk about her department and the many different services that she provides through her department. While Jackie is coming up, I'm going to ask that Mr. Marshall Walker get ready and be on the standby. And we're monitoring our time, folks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Nesbitt. I'm Jackie Lunsford. I'm the Deputy Director of Recreation and Senior Services. That is a very, very broad spectrum of activities and programs. We're going to focus tonight on a few of those programs, but before we start that, my phone number is 770-278-7268 if you ever need to get a hold of me. The Senior Services direct line is 770-278-7230, and the Recreation direct line is 770-278-7529. And a few things that I wanted to show you tonight. One is, this is our recreation brochure. It comes out 3 times a year. You can get one of these at Johnson Park. You can get one of these online, and that's www.rockdalecounty.org. In here are some of the things that you can look for. All the parks are listed in here. All of the programs for recreation are in here quarterly. We actually try to do it in a 4-month. And then senior services, the programs are in here also for senior services. You will find all the contact information for the associations, all of our football, baseball, all of those are in this book also. Our parks are listed in here. They are the GPS, the addresses, everything that we try to have this complete. For seniors, we have our Rockdale County Senior Center. It's the Olivia Haydale Senior Center. It's at 1240 Dogwood Drive. And this is a monthly calendar There are about 200 activities at the Senior Center per month. Everything isn't for everyone, but there's something for all seniors. The programming is for ages 50 and up. Right now we have our participant members are 50 to 100. So there's something for everyone. We span about 3 generations now. We have about 800 members at the Senior Center, 650 right now active members. And I would like to just mention a few events that we have, and I know it's limited time, so I'm going to spend my time on this. Andrew's going to touch more on the May 21st event at the Lorraine Trailhead. We're having a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we are having a walk afterwards at South Rockdale Community Park, which Sam Smiley is going to be leading for us. Another thing that I'd like to mention is our Spark event at the Senior Center, and that stands for Sickness Prevention Achieved Through Regional Collaboration. It is an Atlanta Regional Commission event that we hold annually at the Senior Center, and it's open to the public, 50 and over. And please come to that, and there's going to be health screenings and booths and lots of information for seniors at that at that Spark event. Another thing is our Ducky Race. We sell tickets for that. That's our main fundraising event for senior services, and we sell tickets at the Senior Center, 3 tickets for $25. So, and that all the funds go to our events at the Senior Center, and we have it goes to all of our programs. Kinship care and congregate meals, home delivered meals, etc. But right now, I want to introduce you to Sean Bell. She is our in-home services manager, and I want to bring some people that you probably have never seen before, and you may not have seen Sean, but she's going to talk to you a little bit about our in-home services programs.
Good evening. I'll be brief. Okay. We serve frozen meals to our homebound seniors. We serve liquid supplement to our homebound seniors, and we deliver hot meals to our homebound seniors. We deliver 79 meals a day to our homebound seniors. The meals are delivered Monday through Friday from 10:30 a.m. to 12 noon. We serve 18,053 unduplicated meals a year. Shelf-stable meals, 316. Liquid supplement, 1,469, totaling 19,838 meals a year. We have 10 routes, 1 which is frozen, and the other 9 is hot routes. We currently have 87 volunteers. We range from 4 to 11 seniors per route. The longest route is 60 miles round trip, and that is the frozen route. The hot route is 2 to 32 miles round trip, totaling a week 825 miles a week for our Meals on Wheels delivery. We're always requesting and asking for volunteers and sponsors for our Meals on Wheels route. So if your church organization or a group here want to sponsor or deliver a route, feel free to contact me at the Senior Center or contact Melissa Pugh, our volunteer coordinator.
Thank you, Sean. Next, we'd like to, Tom McPike is our therapeutic recreation manager. He's going to come up and tell you a little bit about that.
I'm Tom McPike. I'm manager of Therapeutic Recreation Services at the Parks and Recreation. Our office number is 770-278-7249. And we serve people of all different disabilities and all different ages. We've had toddlers and early interventions, sensory stimulation programs, all the way up to what we call master's program, which is for older people. We have three main goals in our department or our services, and one is to provide specialized and or adapted programs to people. This can include everything from wheelchair sports to other Special Olympic activities. An example of some of our specialized sports is this is lost its charge, but it's an audible beep baseball that allows people with blind and low vision to play softball, believe it or not. So, the other goal that we have is to collaborate with community agencies and facilities to provide recreational and leisure opportunities for people with differing abilities. We've done a number of things with different churches and church leaders. We provide a large Special Olympic program and compete in a number of sports on local, state, and in some cases national levels. We participate also with schools and a number of disability-related organizations. And then finally, the final goal is inclusion, promoting inclusion and providing reasonable accommodation or assistance for people to participate in the regular programming of Parks and Recreation, or even the regular Parks and Recreation and even county facilities, so they're accessible with them. So just for your information, we had over 300 people participate in our programs last year from ages 3 to 60 plus. We utilized over 104 volunteers and collaborated with 24 different agencies and its services. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
How can they reach you if you contact?
Okay, again, the number was 770-278-7429.
And lastly, we have Bud Sosby. He's going to talk about our featured park, Veterans Park, for a moment.
Commissioner, I want to just say real quickly, Mr. Sosby is one of our former Rockdale County Commissioners, and he's dedicated his entire life here lately to our Veterans Memorial Park, and no one can really advocate better than Commissioner Sosby.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thank you for saying that, Commissioner. I will not say I won't talk too short. I'm going to talk as long as I can get away with it, because I'm proud of this park. You don't realize it's going to be the biggest park in the United States, located in North Rockdale? I think it's going to be proud of it. We're going to bring in people who want to stay in the motel rooms. People come visit. Fact is, now when they come up and talk to me, they said, "But I went and saw that park." He said, "That thing is fantastic." I said, "You ain't seen nothing yet. You only seen 1/3 of it." When we do get that finally built, and we got a great committee that's going to get getting that done for us, finding their own money, source of money, we will have eventually the park that will bring in so many people. We got to have extra traffic duty and everything else on it. But let me show you very quickly what that park's going to look like. This is an outline we passed out today in our meeting. This is the park. And the one I want to sort of brag about is the one down here that says number 6. That was added because your commission group asked us to do that. They wouldn't include the current wars that we got going on, Afghanistan, those other places over there. So we now have ways you can actually take this form that you've been handed out to you. You can order a paver with your name, rate, and serial number, or anything else you want to put on it. And you can actually put that paver in the ground up there for any veteran wherever he may live. You may have an uncle in Chicago or an uncle in California, but if he's a veteran, you can honor him by putting his paver out there. And we tell you how much they are, $100 and $200. And that's a cheap price. Most people charge a lot more for that. But I got the $200 version because not only did I put my name, right, and serial number, I want to put the 3 big wars I was in. I was in the Battle of the Bulge, the Rhine River crossing, and I was in the first patrol to met the Russians on the Elbe River. So those are pretty good things to brag about, I guess. But it's a park that will make our county proud. And Mr. Chairman, and all the commission group, I want you to ask Tommy Clack, who heads this up this committee. It's the Rockdale County Veterans Memorial Park for Rockdale County, not Conyers, Georgia. Now, I'm not defeating Conyers, of course, it's an important part of our ceremony, but I want to keep the name Rockdale County very foremost in everybody's mind. Any questions you want to ask me about it? You may take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Bud Sosby is, as you can see, very passionate about the Veterans Memorial Park. And if you've not had an opportunity, I want to encourage you, especially to take your members of your church, and especially your young people out and visit the park. We have a lot of great amenities here in Rockdale County for everybody in our community. And a lot of these things that you're learning about tonight, you just did not know on the surface level by watching our meeting on Channel 23. So coming out here tonight, I hope you really picked up a lot of information. We are pressed for time, but I have several other people, just a few other people I need to make sure that we bring on board to give you information. And I'm going to ask Marshall to yield just for 1 second. Andrew Hammer, if you would come up, please, sir. He's in charge of our special projects, and it kind of flows into the same information that we've been getting from Parks and Rec. So I'm going to ask Andrew to come up and give us a little bit about some of the exciting stuff that's going on through his office.
Good evening, and I know it's 7:08, so I'm going to go fast too. But before I do want to tell you that when I got ready this morning, my wife asked me why I'm wearing this ugly shirt, this bright blue shirt. She said, it's so bright, it's going to look in the background. And I said, Commissioner Nesbitt loved that color so much that he went and bought a tie to match my shirt. So I do want to say that. Anyway, my name's Andrew Hammer. I'm the Special Projects Manager with the county, and essentially I handle all the construction projects. These are the major renovations. These are the county's, the Board of Commissioners' municipal projects, not the schools or anything like that. But any major renovations, any new construction, from small sidewalks and pavilion renovations, new parks, all the way up to the jail expansion that we did a little while ago. In fact, I'll be helping the sheriff hopefully relieve him of some of the burdens on his liquor store renovation that he talked about a little bit earlier. In addition to that, I manage the SPLOSH project, the SPLOSH project, excuse me, with the exception of transportation and water. They're so complicated that I beg them not to let me have anything to do with it, so they get to do that on their own. So I don't have to deal with traffic, and I don't have to deal with sewage. So I got the best end of that stick. I also work with Alice a lot on grant management, the energy efficiency programs that we have, and some of these community programs. And I manage the impact fee program, and last but not least, the trails programs. I help coordinate with the city on the Old Town Trail where it overlaps into the county, as well as the South River Trail. And I think that's what you asked me to talk about real quick tonight. The Lorraine Trailhead, which Jackie mentioned earlier, we're going to be having a dedication ceremony here a little bit. The Lorraine Trailhead, if you all remember, if you've ever gone down south to Stockbridge on 138, used to be the Rockdale Auto Salvage location. It was the old junkyard. It was kind of an eyesore for a long time, right on the South River there. I don't know how many thousands of cars that they had to remove. I just know that even after they moved, I still had about 1,500 tires that I had to remove as well. So that park, as it's going to be a park and trailhead. The Lorraine Park and Trailhead is located right on the South River. We received some grant funding for that, so that was sort of a joint project that we worked on. And it's going to be part of the longer and more extensive, the Rockdale, the South River Trail portion that we're doing in Rockdale. That's going to be 13 miles when it's finished. It'll go from the DeKalb County border. It'll connect up with the DeKalb portion of the South River Trail, eventually into the Arabian Mountain Trail. I believe eventually, when everything is done, it'll extend to the Silver Comet Trail and all the way to Alabama. The grand scheme is you can go from Alabama and ride a bike on the trail all the way down to Savannah, where they're trying to connect it up with a historic I forget what they called it. I think it's the Historic Civil War Heritage Trail, something like that, that will extend all the way up the coast, towards the Carolinas. So eventually it'll be a much larger network. Our portion in Rockdale is 13 miles. It's essentially a 12-foot wide concrete pedestrian bike path. If you've been down to the South Rockdale Community Park, then you'll be familiar with it. It's basically, the idea behind it is to have people be able to walk and bike and wheelchair access through some of our beautiful parks and our beautiful green spaces along the rivers, in particular the South River. We have 5 sections, since it is so large, and there's a complicated funding scheme to go with it. The funding comes from conservation funds, Department of Transportation, SPLOST, some grants, as well as private funds. We've broken it up into 5 sections. And I won't get into the master plan. And I do have copies of the master plan, but again, I wasn't told exactly how many copies to bring, so I have about 15. So if you're interested, I can give you one after the meeting. It's also online at rockdalecounty.org. There's so much information on our website. You do have to do a little bit of navigating to the Recreation and Maintenance Department, and then go to park locations, and then you go to the South River Trail, and has some apps on there you can download. 2 of the sections are built right now. The first section that's built is from the DeKalb County line to Alexander Lake. There's another section, then it skips a section, and then there's another section that's built that goes from Daniels Bridge Road, which is on Union Church, over to the South Rockdale Community Park. Again, it's a little easier on the map there. We have one that's currently out to bid, and that's connecting those 2 trails together, so it'll be continuous into DeKalb County. We have 2 sections that are in the final design stage, and those are the sections that go from the Lorraine Trailhead over to the monastery, and then entirely within the monastery property over the monastery's Heritage Center. And then we have one last section that's just getting started in terms of funding and preliminary design. The Lorraine Trailhead is one of 4 entry points. There's going to eventually be 4 trailheads, one at Alexander Lake, one at South Rockdale Community Park, one at Lorraine Trailhead, and then one at the monastery's Heritage Center. Construction on Lorraine is complete. It's going to have about 41 parking spaces. The asphalt concrete that's there now is only about 1/8 of a mile, so you'd have to circle around a whole lot of times in order to get any exercise just at that trailhead. But eventually, like I said, it'll connect to 13 miles of concrete path, and then another 13 in DeKalb, and then so on from there. We're going to have a dedication ceremony, a ribbon cutting at 5 p.m. on May 21st, and then Sam Smiley is going to lead a walk and immediately afterwards, and I think we might have some of the biking community there as well to have a bike ride as well. That'll be at the South Rockdale Community Park, which is right around the corner. So if you come to the dedication of the trailhead and follow everybody over, you can go on the section that is currently built, and it's about 2.5 miles one way. So if you go one way, be prepared. You got to walk all the way back another 2.5 miles. So that's about it. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
The lake next to what used to be the salvage yard.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful. I just passed it the other day and thought I'd gotten lost.
Okay, good.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Can anyone use that lake? Any of the residents?
The lake?
Fish? No, it's a pond.
Are you referring to down right before you get to Henry County line? There is a lake down there. This trailhead, the Lorraine Trailhead, is before that within Rockdale.
I'm talking about the pond or the lake. I won't take your time.
Okay, and talk to you about it afterwards. Alexander Lake is part of the Department of Natural Resources, owns that property as part of Panola Mountain Park. So if that's the one you're thinking of, there is a little parking lot, and I think there's a
few yards down from Fairview.
Okay, I know the lake you're talking about. I think that's a privately owned pond. Yes. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Andrew. Again, want to encourage all of you church leaders to get with Andrew. This is a beautiful place to go out and have a morning service or an evening service, especially take your young people out there. Absolutely a great place to be outdoors. It's a beautiful trail to be a part of. I hope you made note of the date. I think he said May 21st. So that is a very beautiful place, and I think all of our citizens should be taking advantage of. Yes, sir.
What you just said, does that create a scheduling issue, or is it just free for all?
I think when that may be something that may be managed through our Parks and Recreation Department. You can contact them. All of our parks, in terms of gaining access to our parks and facilities throughout the county, Miss April Green over at Johnson Road Park is the one who does the scheduling and the managing of the facilities, such as, for example, the use of Pine Log Park and the covered pavilion over there. If no one is using it, or should I say have booked or registered for it, it's open to whoever wants to use it to go over and have a picnic. But if you want to have a structured, planned event, we suggest that you contact Ms. Green and schedule that. And we have plenty of facilities throughout the county. And again, I'm giving a lot of kudos to Andrew and to what's going on out of this park. So by all means, get out and take a look at it. I got to move forward. I do appreciate your patience and time. I want to at this point bring Mr. Marshall Walker up from our Planning and Zoning Department. After Mr. Walker, I'm asking Mr. Miguel from our Rockdale Department of Transportation to come up and give a little bit of information about what's going on with our roads and bridges in our community. He also has like a ribbon cutting to the Irving Bridge repair project that's coming up pretty soon, I think on the 14th. Come on.
Good evening, I'm Marshall Walker. I am the Director of Planning and Development. Planning and Development involves business license, permitting, plan review, inspections, code enforcement, community compliance, and stormwater. Other than that, I got nothing to do. I'm going to pass out something right quick. Let this be going around. We also do registration of nonprofits, okay, for the question earlier. What I'm passing out is geared toward places of worship, toward those who are here. Included the back sheet, there are 2 sheets. The back sheet is a registration form for your nonprofit. The Board of Commissioners in 2010 did pass an ordinance requiring all nonprofits, including places of worship, to register with the county to get on our database in order to coordinate services, share information with each other. We're the holder of that database. To register, just fill out that form, bring it by the office. Our office is right next door in the administration building, room 120. Some say it's the basement, some say it's the dungeon, we say it's home. It's, as I said, we do a lot of different things. Probably the most often asked question by couple of questions by places of worship and the clergy is, do we have to register? Yes, it is required to register. If you are building a building or an addition onto your place of worship or renovating inside your place of worship, you do need a permit. You also need to be inspected. As the fire chief mentioned earlier, we coordinate all those inspections. They're called compliance inspections. And it is to ensure that the building is safe for a congregation of people. The fire department, environmental health if need be, water and sewer, and building inspectors will all inspect the building. As the chief said, it is not meant to be an onerous thing. It is just meant to be sure we are in compliance with safety rules so that no one gets hurt. Another often asked question is, what kind of accessory use can I use in conjunction with my church? There are certain things that are allowed by right, such as a chapel, administrative offices, a nonprofit religious bookstore, educational classrooms. Those types of things are allowed by right. When you start to talk about an outdoor recreation facility or an indoor recreation facility or a cemetery or a daycare or a private school, those things are special use permit. It must go through a public hearing process for the Board of Commissioners to approve that permit. I'm going to stop there because I know we're running late. If you have any questions, our contact number, telephone number is on the front of this. We also have email just like everybody else. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. That is the nonprofit registration form on the second page.
And if you're in the city, does all this still
If
apply? Is it like a double whammy?
it is not a double whammy. If you wish to be on our registry and you're in the city, we do not charge the fee, but we'll get you on the database so that you're included with everyone else. The city does their own thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. Real quickly, there are over 190 churches in Rockdale County. I just thought I'd make sure I say that again. There's well over 190 churches in this county, and we are so appreciative of those that came out tonight to take this information back. Miguel, if you would come up, I'm going to ask also Ms. Parker to be on standby to follow Miguel and give a quick overview of public relations. Also, the Honorable Commissioner Van Ness is here, and I'm going to ask that she give some remarks as well. Also, I have a representative from the library who's about to shoot me for overlooking her, but she's here as well. She has some information about the library. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good evening. My name is Miguel Valentin. I'm with the Rockdale Department of Transportation, and I will also be very brief. We basically have two primary functions, one being the maintenance of the infrastructure of the roadways, pavement, pothole repairs, signage, traffic signals. Now, we do this only within the jurisdiction of Rockdale County. The city also has signals and roads they maintain, as does the Georgia Department of Transportation. We often get calls about potholes or signage issues that happen to be in other jurisdictions. We try to help as much as we can, but our main primary responsibility is strictly within Rockdale County jurisdiction. The other component of what we do, and let me just give you the phone number in case you do have any such issues. You could call 770-278-7200. That's our main number, 770-278-7200. The other major component of transportation is dealing with transportation projects, repairs, improvements, signalized intersections, widening of roads. Many of you are familiar with the Parker Road widening project. That was one that was done by our, in conjunction with our department a couple years ago. The latest one that we have that's going to be completed in the next week or so is the Irwin Bridge Road bridge over the Yellow River. That project has been under construction about a year, and it is now being completed, and it will be opened, and we have a ribbon-cutting ceremony next Monday at 11 a.m. So if you happen to be in that area, this will be your first opportunity to drive over that bridge, over the new bridge. And when I say drive over, I don't mean drive off, drive over the bridge. As you know, construction projects and transportation planning projects are long-term projects. They begin with a concept. Prior to that concept, there is a need. So if the need can be identified by a member, a citizen, a motorist that goes through to town and has an issue with an intersection, it could come from any source. So from that need, we develop a concept on how to address that need. The process for getting into construction and solving the problem may take 5, sometimes as many as 10 years. The Irwin Bridge project has taken us 7 years to get to completion, but we do work very diligently to get them accomplished. It takes way too long, I understand that. Those are the two main functions of the Transportation Department. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to address them. If not, thank you very much.
Ms. Parker.
Good evening. I can't believe how many people got out of here before we took offering, but I want to give you some information. My name is Tanya Parker. I'm the Director of Community Affairs and Innovative Programs. I've been with the department about 4 months. I have a staff of 2, myself and Sean Kimball, who's the hardest working man in showbiz. He does a lot of the work that we do around Rockdale 23, which are studio. But we also do a lot of work in making sure we work with our internal customers to get information out to you, to plan events, to create marketing materials. But we also use other tools such as the website to also get information out to you. So if you look at Channel 23, you can find out information about jobs, our Rockdale County jobs, as well as state, about events, as well as upcoming meetings. Thank you. And I have some brochures that are hot off the press I can send out.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Thank you so much. And we do apologize because of the timing. She had to be very brief. They do a lot of work in the Public Relations and Innovative Programming Department. As I said earlier at the onset of this meeting, they do a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm going to ask at this point, as we're closing our meeting out, Ms. Charlotte from the local library to come in and give us a little information about some exciting stuff that's going on at the library she wanted to share with you all tonight. Following her will be Commissioner Van Ness, and then I will close this meeting out. Thank you so much for your patience, Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nesbitt.
Thank you.
I'm Charlotte Gellert. I'm a county-appointed volunteer. I filled out one of Jennifer Rutledge's volunteer forms 9 years ago to the Conyers-Rockdale Library Board. What I wanted to bring to this forum today is Rockdale County received a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities through the efforts of Alice Cintron to bring the traveling exhibition Manifold Greatness, the creation and afterlife of the King James Bible, to our library, the Nancy Gwynn Library. The exhibition tells the story of the origins, creation, and impact of one of the most influential books in history. And the Nancy Gwynn Library is one of only 3 sites in Georgia that will have the exhibition. And we will have free special programs, speakers, and workshops held at the library in conjunction with the exhibition. Now, it won't be until June of next year, but a year ahead of a major exhibition like that is not too early to start getting the word out. The exhibition will be open during normal library hours. Preliminary programs the library is planning at this time are the Bible as Religion, presented by a professor of theological bibliography from the Candler School of Theology at Emory University, the Bible as Literature, presented by a retired professor of English literature at Young Harris College, the Bible as Family Artifact, which would be a workshop presented by the National Library Bindery out of Roswell, Georgia, the Bible as History, presented by a Rockdale native and professor of political science at the Newton campus of Georgia Perimeter College. The Bible as Artistic Object, presented by the organist at Central Presbyterian Church in Atlanta, who is an extensive collector of Bibles. Last year, 2011, marked the 400th anniversary of the first printing of the King James Bible in 1611. The exhibition will not only highlight the dramatic tale behind the making of the great book, but also includes the influence on English and American literature and its multifaceted impact on culture and society to the present day. From presidents using the King James Bibles in their inaugurations, to Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, a Charlie Brown Christmas, Handel's Messiah, many authors, and the Apollo 8 astronauts reading from Genesis as they orbited the moon on Christmas Eve 1968. Several local churches provided letters of support for the grant application. I had little flyers that were out on the table that gave the website for Manifold Greatness. It's www.manifoldgreatness.org. There is an awful lot of information on there about what will be part of the traveling exhibit and other locations where it's going to be in the United States. It started September last year. So check back to the on the library's website after the first of the year for more information. And the library's phone number is 770-388-5040, and the library's website is www.conyersrockdalelibrary.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we appreciate the heads up about the exhibit. And we know that a lot of our clergy folks did have to leave out. A few have stayed on with us, but this broadcast will be pre-recorded, and you'll be able to pick up this information for those that had to leave out. I do want to give my colleague, Commissioner Van Ness, an opportunity to come and have a word with you all. Commissioner Van Ness, thank you so much.
Well, I know our crowd's diminished a little bit, but I do want to thank all of you in the faith-based community for the vital role that you play in this community. I know many of you participate in a lot of mission work, some local, some out of the state, some out of the country. I hope that you will consider getting even more involved in your community if you're not now. There's a lot of opportunities for your members of your churches to get involved through community service in a variety of ways if they'd contact the Board of Commissioners office. We also have key agencies like Rockdale Emergency Relief that are really our funneling agency and clearinghouse for a lot of the people in need in our community. So that's an excellent opportunity for you to get involved in local missions here and get people more involved. A lot of times those mission trips out of town do cost a good bit of money, so this is a way to get connected with more people that live right here in Rockdale County. So we hope you'll take those opportunities to get connected and to use the county as a resource for information. There's certainly a great variety of people that are stand ready to help you. Get connected through the nonprofit registry, which will put you in contact with a lot of those opportunities. There's also a great program through Michael Hutchison, who leads it, the Rockdale Coalition, and we meet monthly, and typically the first Monday of the month. There's probably 40 to 65 nonprofit representatives that come every month. And so just a variety of things that sometimes we get focused on our own world and our own congregation, but may overlook people in our community that are really, truly in need. And I know in Rockdale County that homelessness looks very different than it does in what we may consider downtown Atlanta, where you see somebody on the street. You really don't see that in Rockdale County, fortunately, because we have a lot of people that are players behind the scenes that try and alleviate those issues. But you are critical in solving some of these issues that we face as a community. And so for you to be here tonight certainly says a lot about you and the mission of your church organizations. Thank you very much for your attendance tonight. I appreciate getting to see all of you. I see many of you out in the community through shopping and visiting with you. And so just nice to see all of you again. Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to all of you all for coming out, especially those who stayed through the end of this program, especially our staff and department directors who have worked all day today, and they've stayed over when it's now shortly after 7:30 and you're still here. We hope that you've picked up a lot of information that you can take back to the members of your congregation. By all means, we encourage you to engage with our departments and take advantage of all of the different amenities and the features that Rockdale County has to offer. By all means, if we can be of any service to you, please give us a call. You can reach us at 770-278-7000. Again, I'm Commissioner Oz Nesbitt. To my colleague, thank her for her support, the Chief of Staff and all the other staffers who've been here tonight. Thank you for coming. This concludes this program. Good night.